Hello everybody, welcome to India Today, SoSouth. A few days ago, in fact last week, we ended a series with Jawahar, Jawahar, on the cracks in the Dravidian wall. This had to do with everything with Tamil Nadu elections, the history, the culture and the culture of politics, everything. And during that series, many viewers found Jawahar very knowledgeable, informative, and even suggested to me that we should use his services, utilize his services more often and beyond the shores of Tamil Nadu. And that is why he is here again with me. Jawahar, welcome. T.R. Jawahar is the editor of News Today Group in Chennai. He's a chartered accountant by profession and a history buff, a movie buff, and kind of drinks culture and sociology, right? So I've got him back, heeding our viewers' advice, to talk about the raging issues during this election. So the first issue that we want to pick up today is the whole controversy that suddenly erupted about inheritance and wealth tax and wealth redistribution. I think that seems to have caught people's goat more than inheritance tax or wealth tax. What is this wealth redistribution? Why has it become such a hot button issue suddenly? These are the things that we will talk about. But as usual, I would first want to leave the floor open to Jawahar to tell us what he thinks about this. Where is this going and what exactly is happening? Jawahar.
Thank you, Rao, and thank you, viewers, for the opportunity again. It is a hot topic now because it has gone cold long back. Now we have in our midst in India a new Robin Hood in the answering to the name Rahul Gandhi, wants to take money from the rich and give it to the poor. You know, robbing Peter and paying Paul and all these kinds of things. This kind of romanticizing robbery, that's what happens. Typically, this sounds to me very sinisterly like a Congress manifesto, and Rahul Gandhi's speeches sinisterly sound more like a communist manifesto of 200-year-old vintage of Marx and Engels and all that. That is all over. That is all hackneyed and cliched, and that's over. They have run its course. They have caused enough damage to the world, and now Rahul Gandhi is back with these kind of fossils, armed with these kinds of fossils in his hands. So this is a topic. Anyway, we will discuss that because since he has brought it up, I think it merits some amount of discussion at least.
So how we'll do this is I have lined up a series of clips because we can't talk out of context. We have to tell the viewers exactly what people said, and then we will analyze. So I will first play two of Rahul's clips, and then we can discuss those and then take it forward, right? So here is Rahul's clip one, which actually started the whole controversy.
देश का एक्सरे कर देंगे, दूध का दूध, पानी का पानी हो जाएगा.
భారతదేశం ఒక ఎక్స్రే తీసి ఏది నిజమో అది బయటపడాలని మేము కోరుకుంటున్నాము.
पिछड़े वर्ग को, दलितों को, आदिवासियों को, गरीब जनरल कास्ट के लोगों को, माइनॉरिटीज को पता लग जाएगा कि इस देश में उनकी भागीदारी कितनी है.
బీసీలకి, ఎస్సీలకి, ఎస్టీలకి, మైనారిటీలకి దేశంలో వాళ్ళ భాగస్వామ్యం ఎంతుందని చెప్పి దాంతో స్పష్టంగా అవుపడుతుంది చెప్పిన మనం.
इसके बाद हम फाइनेंशियल और इंस्टीट्यूशनल सर्वे करेंगे.
అదే విధంగా ఆర్థిక పరమైన వ్యవస్థాపకమైన సర్వే కూడా చేయించబోతున్నాము.
ये पता लगाएंगे हिंदू किसके हाथों में है, कौन से वर्ग के हाथ में है.
ఈ విధంగా భారతదేశం యొక్క ధనము ఏ వర్గం దగ్గర ఉంది, ఎక్కడుందో మేము తెలుసుకుంటాము.
और इस ऐतिहासिक कदम के बाद हम क्रांतिकारी काम शुरू करेंगे.
So Jawahar, what he said there is in simple, simply put, it's a rough translation I'll give you. That he said, the moment we come to power, we will conduct a caste census, which he's been talking about, and so that everybody knows where they stand in terms of the representation in public, private, every place of livelihood, life and livelihood. Then he said, not just that, following that, we will do a survey of all the wealth and financial institutional wealth. Where is wealth residing? And we will then, after that is clear, then we will do we'll take a revolutionary step, right? So is that the problem, or is it the fact that he's saying that, okay, we'll do the caste census? What is the problem in this? Why is there fire all around?
See, the caste surveys, I think everyone has been talking about it. Rahul Gandhi, our Congress is no longer the preeminent caste champions in India. That card has gone long back to people like Lalus and Mulayams and here Ramdas and VP Singh himself. The social justice card is no longer a Congress forte, and it has never been a Congress forte. On the contrary, the Congress has always played the caste card, and the BJP has beat the Congress at this very game long back. So the Congress is a loser on that count in every place. So the caste surveys, now everyone is talking about it. Even here, Stalin and DMK have been talking about caste surveys, and even some BJP leaders have also been talking about caste surveys. So the caste, all parties are cast in the same mold, and this caste thing will never go away. So there's nothing new in what Rahul Gandhi is saying. Once again, there's old hat. But the point is that he wants to make an X-ray study of all the wealth that is there in the country, and then I don't know. You said a revolution. He said there will be a kind of revolutionary steps will be taken to do this. Now, this very word revolution scares me. I'm terrified of this word revolution. So as I said, what does revolution mean? You just take it out of the rich and give it to the poor. That is what the basic revolution is. This smacks of Marxist manifesto, the Communist manifesto, and we know all over the world from history, we have learned that where this kind of talk of class wars have led to ultimately. We know from history. It has only yielded people like Mao's, people like Stalin's, people like Pol Pot's, and so many other demigods and dictators who all had the red flag on their left hand, guns on their right hand, revolution on their lips, and all kinds of delusionary ideologies in their idle minds called devil's workshops. This is what really happened. I think Rahul Gandhi is idle, so that's why he's raking up all these kind of issues. He does not seem to have any kind of specific program or plans beyond this kind of platitudes that does not sell any longer anywhere.
Okay, so I'll just keep you on this issue a little longer. See, Rahul Gandhi brought up this caste X-ray, so to say, in September. That's the first time he actually kind of articulated what he wanted, when he said that out of 90 secretaries in the government of India, only 3 are backward classes, right? This he said in response to he said this at the special session summoned to give women's reservation, right, to pass the women's reservation bill. I think he did this because the BJP had pretty much neutralized the women's reservation plank, right? And as a counter, he came up with this, now we'll go whole hog on caste, right? But what happened then later is that it didn't show much results. It didn't cause much, it didn't become a talking point as he perhaps thought it would. And then he played on the caste card but lost Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan and Chhattisgarh. Right? All 3, they should have retained in the normal course. So is he now kind of, he has realized that just a caste card won't work anymore? So is he extending it to this wealth redistribution? Is it possible?
That's right, because as I said, the caste card has already been hijacked long back from the Congress. The Congress has lost that caste card long back, and everybody is playing it now. So it doesn't work anymore. So now he is going back to the age-old class conflicts and wealth redistribution and all that. See, as I said, it is very, very dangerous. Now, let me quote from the Congress manifesto, a very, very insidious thing. under the subject economics, the Congress has said that we have to press the reset button. The Congress has said we have to press the reset button. And the next sentence it says, in 1991, we launched the reforms. After 33 years, it is time to now take a relook at all those things. And so we have to press the reset button. So is he now negating all that reforms and that his own mentor, so-called mentor, and I would call puppet PM of UPA, Mr. Manmohan Singh, unleashed under under Narasimha Rao? Is Congress going to now go back on all that and then reset the economy? What is going to be? What does he mean by the reset? Very few people have really looked at this particular aspect of the Congress manifesto, and that is where the core problem is. The Congress is clearly going back on its economic liberalization of the 1991, and then I think my suspicion is that it is going back to the old socialist ways and the license Raj ways. So these are the things that these are not fears that I am now propagating or propounding, but this is what Rahul Gandhi has fallen back on in pure desperation. I think he does not understand the way the world has moved. We should first try to clearly recall what happened before 1991 after 40-45 years of Congress rule. You understand? No, he says reset button means, what does he mean by the reset button in the Congress manifesto? I'm not saying it. It is there in the Congress manifesto. And he has made an analysis, the party has made an analysis under P. Chidambaram, a great economist in the Congress. And he is I think, head of the campaign, the manifesto committee or something. And he has said you have to reset the economic button. What do you mean by that? You want to go back to the old ways? Where, poverty was so bad, the fiscal deficit was so bad. We have come a long way after that. So where is he taking the country back to? I think he's trying to be more left than the leftists. He's trying to be more left than the leftists. It's cast out of his now thing. The only thing he has is the this wealth card. So he's trying to be more. And even in the wealth card, is very vague. It's very, very vague. Who decides who is rich and who is poor? Exactly. So if my neighbor is having 10,000 rupees more than me, should I call Rahul Gandhi and ask him, see, why don't you ask him to give me 5,000 rupees? Is this what is redistribution? Where is the clarity in all these things? Where is the policy in all these things? Yeah. Very funny. That's what I will say.
Very well put. Considering that the practitioners of what you call wealth distribution, what has happened to the practitioners of wealth distribution in this country, the left parties, they're pretty much a Kerala party right now, right? Not even in West Bengal anymore. So do you think it's wise of Rahul Gandhi to take that route?
It's not wise on Rahul Gandhi from a very personal point of view itself. Let me put it that way. See, Congress is the architect of crony capitalism, corruption, caste politics, whatever ill that the party talks about it now. The Congress is the architect of all these things. They have been in power for 40 years straight between 1947 to 1989. Forget the 2 years of Janata joke. And then from 91 to 96 when reforms happened. And I would say that was the best Congress government that ever existed. And then, so that makes it about 45 years. And then you had 10 years of UPA. That makes it about 55 years. And then you add governments propped up by the Congress, Chandrasekhar, Charan Singh, Chandrasekhar, and then Devagowda, Gujral. That makes it another 7 or 8 years. So 60 plus years of Congress we have had. And Congress could have done so much in all these 60 years. You can't put up with 10 years of Modi government. But what about 60 years? It's a lost time, wasted time. But let me forget about all that. What about the 10 years of UPA government, etc.? It was a regime full of scams. The biggest scams were perpetrated during that period. Biggest terrorist attacks were seen during that period. And I'll come to Manmohan Singh soon enough because we have to get to him. So this UPA period and economy was in a very bad shape. Modi did not inherit a good economy, as many people seem to point out. Modi inherited a bad economy, and the whole, in fact, I would go so far as to say that the India against corruption movement helped a lot. BJP helped BJP a lot, and that movement got world attention and brought a lot of negative publicity to India in the world stage. India was deemed one of the most corrupt countries in the world thanks to Congress rule. You had A. Raja, this 2G scam in 2007. In 2009, Congress came back to power. UPA 2 came to power. Raja was back as minister. The 2G scam was still being investigated and was underway. So Congress has no business to talk about any of the things that they have said in the manifesto. Forget about social justice or economics or all those things. But one thing I would say as of in this statement, in this particular point of view, if Congress is really, Rahul Gandhi is really serious about redistribution. There is a saying that charity begins at home. We know that the first family of the Congress is a very rich family. So let charity begin at home or Rome or whatever you call it. They can start the whole thing right away.
Yes, well said. I think if going by what Rahul Gandhi said, we'll bring in a revolution and all that, you could just have dismissed it off as political polemics, right? The campaign trail heat, right? He was releasing off campaign trail heat. But I think it became an issue that it has become right now because Modi jumped in. I think he latched on to something, right? You give him 50%, he can make it into 100%. So I think he jumped in. What he said, I think, has actually made the controversy much bigger, right? So I'll play you that little clip.
जीवन के सपनों से जुड़ा हुआ है तो मुझसे छीनने की बात कर रहे हो अपने मैनिफेस्टो में। गोल ले लेंगे, सबको वितरित कर देंगे। और पहले जब उनकी सरकार थी उन्होंने कहा था कि देश की संपत्ति पर पहला अधिकार मुसलमानों का है। इसका मतलब ये संपत्ति इकट्ठी करके किसको बांटेंगे? जिनके ज्यादा बच्चे हैं उनको बांटेंगे। घुसपैठियों को बांटेंगे। क्या आपकी मेहनत की कमाई का पैसा घुसपैठियों को दिया जाएगा? आपको मंजूर है ये कांग्रेस का मैनिफेस्टो कह रहा है कि वो माताओं बहनों का सोने का हिसाब करेंगे, उसकी जड़ती करेंगे, जानकारी लेंगे और फिर उस संपत्ति को बांट देंगे और उनको बांटेंगे जिनको मनमोहन सिंह जी की सरकार ने कहा था कि संपत्ति पर पहला अधिकार मुसलमानों का है। भाइयों बहनों, ये अर्बन नक्सल की सोच, मेरी माताओं बहनों, ये आपका मंगल सूत्र भी बचने नहीं देंगे।
So I think you may have got most of it. What he's saying here is that Congress, he's mixing what Manmohan said and what Rahul said, and he's coming up with his own interpretation, right? Which is that Manmohan had already said that the first right on resources of this country belongs to the Muslims, right? And Rahul now is talking of redistributing wealth, of taking your gold and giving it away to people with more children, without saying Muslims, and infiltrators. So, and it will come to a stage where he will actually even the Congress will even grab your Mangal Sutra, right? So that is what has made this entire emotional, and he's mixed in a whole lot of metaphors in it, and that is where it has caught on fire. So what do you have to say to the way Modi has now, obviously, he's also a politician. He's also taken it in the direction that he wants, right?
As you said earlier, you give Modi a line and he will make it into a paragraph or even a chapter. So he is a politician to core and a propagandist to core. But the point is that, yes, of course, Modi's interpretations of what Manmohan Singh had said in 2006, which is true, and now he linking it up with what Rahul Gandhi said and connecting the dots. Well, these are definitely a bit over the top and alarmist. I will not deny that. And the way his body language, basically, he does sound very alarmist. But I think people have got used to it. They will take what is necessary and what is not necessary. But my point is that Congress, what the Congress has done in its manifesto, as I already mentioned, is very insidious. They are trying to now divide the nation in various ways, not just as the British did. British planted so many scissors in our stomach. Now the Congresses and Rahul Gandhi particularly is trying to find out new knives to plant in our stomach and cut the polity and society in different ways, and undermining virtually every institution that is there. But the core thing is that, did Manmohan Singh say that?
Right.
Yes, I can vouch for it. He did say that. We have commented on it at that time itself. He did very specifically say that the first right for the country's resources should go to the Muslims. Minorities first, and then he said Muslims.
Minorities.
On the question of minorities, I can talk about it. But let us take the question of Muslims alone. In Congress manifesto, it talks about so many groups. Why did not Manmohan Singh say that the first right of the resources should go to women? Why does he not say that the first right should go to farmers? Why did he not say that the first right should go to youth? Why did he not say that the first right should go to the MSMEs? There are various things. See, this minority politics, which is what the Congress specializes in, it doesn't. It is very bad. That is the core problem of Indian politics in the last 40-50 years. And Congress sowed the seeds for it, and BJP built it up, and they are in power because of that. There is no doubt about it. But BJP built upon that. But the core problem is that the way the congressmen have always been speaking, and particularly someone so very respected, Manmohan Singh, when he said that, I was telling you, you could have picked up so many other communities which have been left out.
Yeah.
Groups that have been left out. All these groups are now listed out in the Congress manifesto. But Manmohan Singh never said that 20 years back. So these are all there. They could have easily included them. And I have always felt that one community which has always been left out is that the transgenders. No manifesto talks about these transgenders actually. See, these are people who are marginalized community. Manmohan Singh even did not talk about Dalits. They talk so much about social justice today, caste and other things today. He didn't talk about tribals. He never said first right should go to tribals, SCs and Dalits. Suddenly Rahul Gandhi has come up with this brainwave today.
To be fair to Congress, where Modi said it is in their manifesto, it is not clearly stated in their manifesto.
It is not.
And one other extrapolation that Modi did is, of course, that they will give your wealth to people with more children, right? I think that confuses things a bit, because he's not factual there. Because what used to be a huge difference between Muslim fertility and Hindu fertility, it has dropped down drastically. And more Muslims are actually having smaller families now, right? So I think there is some amount of fudging of facts on his part, yes. But then there is a big fudge from the other side. Everybody now standing up saying, no, Manmohan didn't say this. They are teaching us English grammar suddenly, right? Have you seen the Congress ecosystem? The BJP ecosystem is saying something. The Congress ecosystem is telling us, no. Manmohan never said this. I think that is where the problem is. Why don't you say, yes, Manmohan said it, but we still want to go ahead with this, right? Manmohan did say, and as you said, I've read it many times, I've heard it many times. He said it, and full stop. There can't be any qualification of that. But then the way Modi is taking it to Muslims, this entire thing, I think there is a reason why he's doing this. Let me share. So I'm the interviewer, but even then I'll just tell you here. I think one of the reasons is that during this, in the build-up to this campaign and during this campaign, Congress and the opposition party has been hammering in that Modi wants 400 because he wants to change the constitution, right? I think somewhere the BJP might be feeling that this might actually impact on its Dalit vote, right? I think that is the reason why this came as a godsend to Modi. The moment he spoke about redistribution, he brought it in. And see, you can't, as a political party head, you can't say I will not redistribute wealth to the poor, right? That would have been a very difficult position to take. Instead, he brought in the Muslims and he made them the fall guy. And that is where I have an issue with the way this has panned out for the BJP, because for the last 3 years, this party has actually been bringing the temperature, Hindu-Muslim temperature down in terms of Modi's statements, in terms of RSS's statements, and denying tickets to Pragya, denying tickets to Katil, and a whole lot of people like that. There has been not an overture as such, but there has been a bringing down of temperature. Now this takes this government back another 3 years, right? All the work that they've been doing to see, a country can't prosper if you do not have 25% of your 25 crore people feeling unsafe or threatened all the time. I think in that sense, he's gone for short-term good right now, and I think he will resume this post-elections. I think that's where I have difficulty in kind of accepting what the way he articulated this. What do you say?
I have no doubts in my mind that Manmohan said what he did, because I was personally witness to that. We went through the videos not once, many times, even at that time before writing editorials against it. But having said that, as I already commented, Modi has certainly gone over the top and been very alarmist, bringing in words like infiltrators and bringing in the topic of big families, many children. I think in the last several years, the statistics don't back that kind of bogey or fear that Modi has kicked up, or the extreme right wing in the BJP or the Sangh Parivar has done that. On the contrary, the average number of children is 1.9 with amongst Hindus, but it has come down from 4.4 in the last 10 years or 15 years to 2.4 in Muslim families. Many Muslim families today, educated women, even the clergy of Muslim clergy, are going out of the way to tell Muslim families that it is better to have smaller families. It is good for them in terms of economy, good for them in terms of assimilation with the country in many ways. So I think there was no necessity to raise this bogey of more children, so more money will go to the... Manmohan Singh said that. There's no doubt about it. But that doesn't mean you will have to go to the other extreme and say that more money will go to the... Because Muslim families are also coming down. That's a fact.
Yeah.
That's a fact. So everybody believes, even including me, at one point of time, we believed that. But in the last 10, 15 years, it has come down. So the effort that Modi has done in bringing Muslims to his side, like Hajj subsidy, so many other things, I can narrate a lot of things, that has been set back by certainly. And it is very, I would say that not a right thing to do at the time of elections. Just as Rahul keeps walking into Modi's trap. This is one trap where Modi has also walked into. But I don't know who reminded him of Manmohan Singh's statement, because there are worse things that Manmohan Singh did during those 10 years, which I would like to narrate if and when we have the time.
Yes, yeah, okay. Now, he said, and he replied, so perhaps it could have ended there, right?
Yeah.
But then, Sam Pitroda is Sam Pitroda, right? He has to jump in right at the time of elections, right? And to obviously they jump to Rahul's aid, but somehow end up aiding Modi, right? So I'll play his.
There is an inheritance tax. So if, let's say, one has $100 million worth of wealth, and when he dies, he can only transfer probably 45% to his children. 55% is grabbed by government. Now that's an interesting law. It says, you in your generation made wealth. You are leaving now. You must leave your wealth for public. Not all of it, half of it. Which to me sounds fair. In India, you don't have that. When we talk about...
So that's in English. I don't need to translate. So he came in. So this gave more ballast to Modi. He immediately connected what Rahul has been saying about wealth survey and this inheritance tax, and he's gone ballistic all over again. So let me see whether I get that. Modi, yeah, yes.
कांग्रेस ने तो आज एक और पत्ता खोल दिया है. उनका हिडन एजेंडा बाहर आया है. आज उन्होंने कहा है इनहेरिटेंस टैक्स यानी विरासत में भी। अब आप देखिए हमारे देश में तो दादा दादी नाना नानी भी कुछ बचा के रखते हैं, खुद कभी उसका खर्चा नहीं करते। क्यों? उनके मन में रहता है पोता पोती बड़े होंगे ना, उनकी शादी में काम आएगा। अब ये कांग्रेस कहती है कि आप अपने संतानों को वो संपत्ति नहीं दे सकते। करीब करीब आधी संपत्ति कांग्रेस की सरकार बनेगी तो कानूनन आपसे लूट लेगी।
Yeah, you got that right. So
Yeah,
once again,
got that.
he's used Sam Pitroda's and what Rahul has been saying and come up with his own interpretation, where he's saying that they'll take away 50% of your wealth from you the moment they come. As I said, this isn't the quite quite the most accurate analysis of what Rahul wants, maybe, but I think it serves Modi's purpose. Yeah.
Quite a lot of scaremongering that from Modi. I cannot imagine where the hell San Petroda landed out of the blue in the whole thick of these things. I don't know how he came into the picture at all. Nobody even remembers. Nobody even remembers him today. He was more associated with Rajiv Gandhi and of course Sonia Gandhi and all that. So now he has backtracked, and then, but certainly the Congress is on the back foot because, see, as I said, there's a very major difference between communication and propaganda. Congress and almost all parties are bad at communication, but most of the parties are good at propaganda, and nobody can beat Modi at propaganda. So now he has once again connected two dots, two persons. It does not matter if both Rahul Gandhi and Sam Pitroda are on the same page or anything. The fact is that Sam Pitroda is a family retainer of the Gandhis, and Rahul Gandhi is talking about wealth distribution and all that. So Modi has very conveniently connected up these two things. But estate duty was abolished by the Congress government in 1985 or 86. Yeah. But that was when VP Singh was the finance minister. But occasionally, all parties have been making noises about bringing it back in some way or other. Even Arun Jaitley, at some point of time, I remember that he has appreciated the estate duty system in various countries. But I don't think bringing in this estate duty and this kind of inheritance tax is a possibility in India anymore, because it will hurt not the rich, but it will hurt the middle classes more. So I think this bogey will go away. Yeah. Something Rahul Gandhi will give Modi something new today or tomorrow, so that it will take off from there. We have 6 more phases to go.
So, see, as you said, wealth tax, inheritance tax, estate tax, these are all nothing revolutionary about them, right? They've been there. They've been in India. They've been introduced and taken back, and they persist in the rest of the world. So, inheritance tax or wealth tax, which is a percentage, right, of let's say 2% or 3%, or in the US it's 45%. That is why this whole big so I think this fellow saying 45% you give away, I think is a big thing. And right, for anybody in India to say that 45%, see, in the US there is this key, you earn your keep, right? We are not like that. Right. We like to pass it on through generations. I think that is where Modi has got hit the kind of on your head. You know, he's knocked it right here. He's hit it right in the middle of your eyes. Right. He caught this sentiment that India loves to pass on wealth from generation to generation. If you take away 55% of that wealth from generation to generation, what then is left? Right. I think, but coming back to my question, wealth tax and inheritance tax you've heard of. So why is this that people are now saying, yeah, this can't happen? Why is Modi able to communicate that there is something drastic going to happen to your lives? Congress is going to pauperize you. So why is that? Is this because Rahul Gandhi has something else?
Rahul Gandhi does not have anything else. The whole thing is because Rahul Gandhi brought up the topic of redistribution of wealth.
Yes.
So Modi has now jumped on this by saying that this is one of the ways by which the Congress party, Rahul Gandhi, is going to redistribute your wealth after you are dead. Even when you are alive, they will take your money, and then after you are dead, they will
Yes.
take your money and property. I think
Correct.
he is getting away with the campaign with the middle classes, because the fear the middle classes is always there, because middle classes have their wealth in the form of property or jewelry and all these kinds of things. So now he has put the fear into the minds
Yeah.
of the middle classes that poor, we never talk about it. The rich can pay their way out,
Right.
but the middle classes are the burgeoning middle classes are the real people he is targeting on this
Correct.
particular account. So it is Rahul Gandhi who gave the ammunition first in the form of redistribution of wealth. Now Modi taking it up, Sam Pitroda now walking into the trap, and Modi now taking it further. It's only an extension of that basic original sin that Rahul Gandhi committed in terms of redistribution.
So tell us the difference between inheritance tax and wealth tax and redistribution. Why is redistribution such a red rag to the bull?
On what basis can any redistribution happen? The basic communist ideology, from each according to his ability to each according to his needs. So there are people who work and make money, and there are people who don't have money. Now, if you say from each according to his ability to each according to his needs, then the queue will become longer on this side with people with their arms open. You must have heard of the popular joke. If you have 2 cars, will you give it to your neighbor? Yes. If you have 2 houses, if you give it to your neighbor? Yes. If you have 2 shirts, will you give it to your neighbor? There will be silence, because everyone has 2 shirts. Nobody wants to give it. So this is the basic thing wrong with the this communist manifesto, which is what the Congress manifesto is, a proxy communist manifesto. Nothing original about it. Nothing original about this Congress manifesto. I see shades of communist manifesto of Angels and Marx recirculated and recycled every year, particularly in the context of Congress trying to press the restart button and all that. So going back to all the old nonsense of Jyoti Basu and all that kind of failed economics, failed moralities, and monstrous famines and killings and all that. So this is what it is. So Rahul Gandhi is guilty of giving ammunition for Modi in all this, and the fear also is there among the middle classes. Any Congress regimes have always been associated before Manmohan Singh with high taxes. Have always been associated with high taxes. So successive governments have brought down the tax, individual taxes, and all those tax levels has successively come down. So now, where is the money? How do you distribute the money? As I said earlier, who will distribute? Who will decide who's rich and who's poor? Who will decide all that? Who will find out who has the money and who does not have the money? Where is the mechanism for that? Is the Congress going to have a redistribution cell in it? Is the Congress going to have a redistribution cell in its party office where you can make a call and say this is the situation? See, the communist ideology says you take it from the bourgeois and give it to the proletariat. Taking from the bourgeois happens, but distributing to the proletariat never happens. The Congress they say the state will wither away. The state is there always. Only the nation withers away ultimately. The nation withers away ultimately. And this is what the Congress is talking about now.
Okay, now, if it is such a, if it will hurt the Congress so bad, why is Rahul Gandhi digging in his heels? Because listen to this, and
आपने ही कहा कि मैनिफेस्टो क्रांतिकारी डॉक्यूमेंट है, उसमें एक्सरे है और उसमें जो इनकम इनइक्वालिटी नरेंद्र मोदी जी ने की है, जो 22 लोगों को उन्होंने 16 लाख करोड़ रुपए ट्रांसफर किया, थोड़ा सा पैसा, ज्यादा नहीं, थोड़ा सा पैसा कांग्रेस पार्टी का मैनिफेस्टो वापस 90% को देने जा रही है. थोड़ा सा हमने कैलकुलेट करके जो न्याय हमें लगा कि इतनी मदद करनी चाहिए, हमने मैनिफेस्टो में डाल दिया है.
Yeah, I got that.
So,
I got
sorry,
that.
there are English subtitles, so I don't need to explain much.
Yeah, I got that. I got
Yeah.
that.
So, okay. So the question I want to ask here is, of course, I'll point out, like we pointed out in Modi's speech, the exaggerations and extrapolations of Rahul Gandhi here. One is that he says 16 lakh crore of money has been given to 22 corporate houses. I think is now drilling it down, right? And that's a imaginary figure. Also because there is at least 11 lakh crore worth of NPAs that were inherited from the Congress regime by this regime. And in 2010 or so, I remember the corporate debt write-off was about tax cuts was about 4.5 lakh crores even in 2010 when the Congress was there. It's not like Modi has just come in and started giving money or tax cuts to corporates. And the other inaccuracy is that he's saying that this inequality of income has been generated by Modi. It's only because of Modi, right? So these are obviously inaccuracies. He is only trying to kind of reinforce his own message, which is fine. But this whole narrative of 16 lakh crore we will redistribute among 90 to the 90% which has been left out of development. What do you have to say there?
Why would anyone take an X-ray? You tell me. Why would anyone take an X-ray? He says, I only asked for an X-ray. I have not said this or that. Why would anyone take an X-ray? That's the first thing. The second thing is that 16 lakh crores, I don't know where he got that figure from. 10 years back, he used to talk about somebody called Kalavati and all that. So he gets these kind of fads out of the blue. And then, so 16 lakh crores, let us take a figure. Let us take Rahul Gandhi's figure as sacrosanct that he is doing. And he says first he said 16 lakh crores will be distributed. Now he says a small amount of it will be distributed. What is that small amount? I don't know what is that small amount. And he said calculations are underway. I don't know who's doing those calculations. I saw many people clapping there also. I just don't understand, That man is out to confuse you. He is confused and he's out to confuse everybody. And he has given a big list of things that he would do with the 16 lakh crores. Now, how is he going to first fetch the 16 lakh crores from whoever has stolen it, according to him? How is he going to get the refund from of the 16 lakh crores?
Correct. Yeah.
First, forget about the question of redistributing it. This is all absurd nonsense that is being on parade and giving more ammunition to Modi on a daily basis. I don't really understand how these calculations really pan out. 16 lakh crores suddenly out of the blue, and then a small portion. What is that small portion? Is this a cake or something like a thing like a pie or something like it that you just take and distribute? And who are going to be the beneficiaries? What constitutes the 90%? Who constitutes the 90%? Congress has made a list of people who are a priority list. It is minorities. It is SC, STs, and OBCs. Then it is women. It is youth. So 90%, who does it go to? Or let me ask it in a very simple manner. Who are the 10% that were not going to get this 16 lakh crores? Where does Rahul Gandhi and his congressmen stand? In the 90% or in the 10%?
Yeah. True.
This is very confusing and very, very silly, right. I would say.
So, in yesterday, the tweet that he put out, he said, what all can be done with this 16 lakh crore?
Yeah, I saw that.
First you pointed out, where is this 16 lakh crore? It's tax cuts. It's not a scam money. It's lying somewhere so you can get it back, right? So it's imaginary, right? That's one. But let's assume there are no tax cuts. It's not just in India. Everywhere, industry gets tax cuts because the thought behind that is that they produce jobs, they create wealth, and there's an ecosystem, the economy, they keep moving forward, right? So that is why they get tax cuts. So if with all these tax cuts, private investment is still not taken off in India, right? They're still holding back, wondering whether this is the right time to do, right? And if you take away those tax breaks, obviously, what will be there? Rahul Gandhi in his tweet says that with this 16 lakh crore, we can give employment to 16 crore youth with a salary of 1 lakh per year. So where will the jobs be if there is no industry and there is no tax cuts? Does it make sense?
I have to join the Congress and wait for Rahul Gandhi to give them the 1 lakh that never was or never is. Because as I said, I just can't understand the arithmetic completely. I think we'll be failing as a chartered accountant on this count alone. Now, he has made a big list of things that he will do with this 116 lakh crore. He is going to do so many things. That is one thing that we have already discussed. Now, I'm telling you, there has to be a reduction in corporate tax in India. It has to be brought down drastically. You can that can be level slabs, but for me, ideally, in fact, I'm one of those who have been fighting for the abolition of income tax itself, because any basic canon of a tax is that the collection of the cost of collection of tax should not be more than the tax collected. I think the tax collection machinery in India is one of the biggest in the world. It's the biggest bureaucratic exercise. Still, we have got used to it. The very concept of income tax was brought by the British during the World War time, First World War in 2018 or 19, to finance their debt, to finance the war efforts. There was no tax. Okay, so we have inherited a British legacy brought to fund what was essentially a war effort of the British, and the money had come from Indian businesses. Today, the tax rates have to be cut further if you have to spur growth, spur investment, and spur employment. As I said in one of the interviews earlier, there has to be protection for the employers first. If you go back to your communist manifesto kind of thing and bring back all these rotten ideologies of Marx and Engels, which Rahul Gandhi has now paraded or peddled, we are finished. We have to think in terms of the employers. We have to give protection to the employers. Only they will be able to generate jobs today. It need not be always the Adanis and the Ambanis. It has to be the smaller MSMEs and the manufacturing sector and all these kinds of small traders who employ people. Every tax cut given to a small business, you must bring it down to less than 15% or even 10%. So only then there will be investment in these. Now, even now the tax regime is very harsh. So Congress kind of tax regime is unthinkable. That's what I will tell you.
Yeah. So will this rhetoric work with say the poor people below poverty line? However they define the poverty line, it keeps changing, of course, right? Will it work with them? If I'm really poor and if the government wants to give me money, would I be very upset with it, or should I be kind of going in droves to vote for Rahul Gandhi? Why should it not work with the people?
I don't know why it should not work. Why it won't work, but why it should not work, I have already given you enough adequate reasons for that. This is kind of worn-out, stale populism that is very dangerous and for any economy, for that matter. No one is going to take it further. None of his own allies will touch it. None of his own allies will touch this.
Right.
And he has no allies after all. Kerala is gone. Left is fighting with him. Mamta is fighting with him. In all these dulls are all fighting with him. No one is ready to accept the Congress. That is probably the reason why he is doing all this kite flying, so that nobody is in any way going to take him very seriously in all these things. So I don't know why. But my point is that, see, the basic issue that we are facing today is there are two issues. One is jobs. The second is inflation. But my theory or my feeling, I'm not an economist to suggest a theory, but my feeling is that once there are jobs, and that jobs can only be generated at the bottoms up approach from the small traders and all those people. They have to be incentivized. And the best way to incentivize them is through tax cuts. And that is also one way of socialism. Why do you talk of socialism only from the people point of view? You talk of socialism from the economic point of view, from the businessman point of view. So these people generate jobs. Once jobs are there, which is my biggest worry, even with the Modi government's Modi's manifesto.
Right.
Once jobs are there, the other issues like inflation will automatically get sorted out. Today we are in a spending economy, not in a savings economy. So you give an extra money to the people, immediately they would want to buy something. That's the way it works today. We have moved away from all that. So today what we need is jobs. Every party, every leader will have to give a very credible policy and program for how to create jobs in the short run, not in the long run. So they have to create jobs. The price rise, inflation, all these things will automatically get at least adjusted in all these things. And one of the reasons I'm saying that tax cut has to be there for the small businesses and others is that that is the only way you can incentivize them to start businesses, to do business. Many of them have gone out of business. That I can vouch for personally.
So to conclude, I would want to take you back to what you said about Manmohan and reset button and all that. Rahul has been talking about bringing up a revolution. Revolution in, I think, as we discussed, he is only talking about redistribution of wealth, which is a very loaded thing to say. Why would I want my wealth to be given to you, or your wealth? Why would you want it to give it to me? That's one, the revolution part. The other thing that you pointed out is that it's not just because I'm correlating from what you said. He's saying this in public, and nobody has noticed. You brought it to my notice also. This rebooting of economy, that we need to reboot, right? Which means two things. One is that this revolution that he's talking of is not in thin air. He really wants to do something with it. Two is that he's turning the entire Manmohanomics, of which that party is so proud of, on its head. So talk on that for a bit, and then we will close it.
Yeah. See, I have said it earlier. It is there in bold print, this reboot of the reset the economy. The economy has to be reset. And in that context, it has been said that the 1991 to now 33 years have passed, and it is now time to relook at the very core philosophy of that reform process that Narasimha Rao initiated. Manmohan Singh was a second player in that.
Correct.
Second player. But for Narasimha Rao, it would not have happened. But the Congress does not want to acknowledge Narasimha Rao for obvious reasons. He was not part of the family or anything. So he ran the best Congress government that we had so far, and that's changed India. We were beggars on the eve of 1991 after Rajiv Gandhi's assassination. On the eve of 1991 election, the country was begging, and Narasimha Rao changed all that along with Manmohan Singh. So now Rahul Gandhi trying to overturn Manmohanomics completely is a very, very dangerous thing, as I keep saying in this particular show. No, my only word I can use is that this is very insidious. He does not care about the country. He just does not seem to care about the country, and he is absolutely rootless about the basic economic history and what had happened before the liberalization. What was the state of the country before liberalization? The state was wrought by his father, his grandma, his great grandma. This is the family. It runs in the family. I'm not saying that they didn't do anything for the country. They did a lot of things. Nehru, Indira Gandhi, they did a lot of things on many fronts. But ultimately, it is the economic stupid. That's what they say. There is no ideology or no faith or nothing on empty stomach. Manmohan Singh and Narasimha Rao changed all that. And this man comes around now after 33 years and says that he wants to reboot. He wants to say that he wants to go back to all this kind of revolution. I am very, very scared of this very word revolution. All these revolutions in this world have only led to bloodletting and led to dictators and all these kinds of things. No revolution has ever worked. I have quoted many names from history. I'm not going to say that Rahul Gandhi will become a dictator, because I even doubt if he's going to become the Prime Minister in the first place. So that is not there. But the very revolution rankles in my mind. It brings back big memories. I think the younger generation would do well to read history of all these so-called revolutionaries. Post-World War has thrown up most number of revolutionaries. People who Mao and Stalin and all these people, who did, what they did with these revolutions. Now the Congress is talking about revolution. That very word revolution gives me the jitters.
So is Congress then, in its manifesto, actually disowning Manmohan Singh?
It is. it is a straight thing. I have quoted from the manifesto. It's a straight thing. He says after 33 years, now we have to relook and for that they have given very elaborate, vague things. But basically, they are going against what Manmohan Singh did during that 91 to 96 period, which actually brought the country out of a big mess, I would say.
That's a
For
big
those 5
service they
years,
did to the. Yeah.
yeah, for those 5 years, I remain a fan of Manmohan Singh. But between 2004 and 2014, I'm not. I would like to say a few things about those 10 years that Manmohan Singh was at the helm. He lent his credibility and trust to a complete pretender to the throne, a person who was wielding authority without any kind of responsibility. He lent it to it. The constitution says the post of the prime minister is the cornerstone of the arch of democracy. He completely undermined that post. The prime minister is supposed to be the first among equals in the cabinet. Manmohan Singh was never the first among equals. The cabinet formation was the prerogative of the prime minister. But Karnataka could push one Ayagiri into the central cabinet. That was the kind of prerogative that Manmohan Singh exercised. But worst of all, the constitution says the prime minister and the cabinet shall hold office at the pleasure of the president. The constitution meant the country's president. Manmohan Singh interpreted it as the Congress president. That's what it is. It became a joke. And finally, Manmohan Singh, everybody knows that he was keeping the seat warm as a regent for a prince in waiting, and the prince is still in waiting, saying all kinds of these blunders and bloomers and all kind of things. This is my concluding statement. So we have a new Robin Hood here.
Yeah. So when it goes to Manmohan's legacy, he once said, as he was retiring from prime ministership, he said, "History will judge me more, kindly." Right. One of the things that is undisputed about Manmohan is his contribution to liberalization. Right. He was number 2 to Rao, of course. Without Narasimha Rao, it couldn't have happened. But he was one of the architects of that. That nobody can take it away from him.
Absolutely,
right?
absolutely.
Yeah. And today, is Rahul Gandhi taking that away from Manmohan?
Exactly. See, Congress has this practice of doing it to all its stalwarts. Okay, the Congress does not like stalwarts; it likes only warts. Now, the Congress did it to so many others: Lal Bahadur Shastri, Kamaraj, so many others. Morarji Desai was in the Congress; they were thrown out. Then you come to so many other people. Of course, there are so many other governments they have pulled down everywhere. They have used Article 356 just like that. In Tamil Nadu alone, they have used Article 356 4 times. Today, people talk about Kejriwal being arrested. Congress did not have to do all those things because it could dismiss entire governments, entire state cabinets with one stroke of the pen with the Article 356 with pliable presidents around. So Congress have done this to Narasimha Rao. It has completely forgotten him. Then Sitaram Kesari, the way he was literally thrown out of the Congress office. People should not forget all that. Why did Sharad Pawar and all those people leave the Congress? Sonia Gandhi said she will not take over as Congress president. You had all the congressmen rolling on Janpath, begging her to be in stay back as Congress president. This is the Congress culture. Sitaram Kesari was thrown out. So why not Manmohan Singh? Manmohan Singh is also expendable. That's what I would say. That is the fate of all congressmen. Now, let me tell you one thing. The Congress had a very unique opportunity a few years back. It had inner party elections. They put up Mallikarjun Kharge and Shashi Tharoor. What stopped them from making Shashi? Not that I'm a fan of Shashi Tharoor, but definitely Shashi Tharoor was a much better candidate than Mallikarjun Kharge. The only plus point that Mallikarjun Kharge had was that he was a family retainer. That is all. One more proxy. Shashi Tharoor could have made a better Congress president, but they did not want to take the risk. Then he would have completely overshadowed Rahul Gandhi. It's like Rahul Gandhi, this Gandhi family is like a dog in the manger. That's what they call, They don't eat the hay and they don't let anybody else eat the hay. But the congressmen have only themselves to blame for all these kind of things. And it is very unfortunate for the nation that, you don't have an opposition party at all. You don't have checks and balances at all. And that's very bad.
Manmohan is in his evening of his life. He has just retired from Rajya Sabha. What would he be thinking about Rahul's revolution? It's a guess, but tell us.
he must feel very sad. And he must be hoping that Rahul does not become the PM. He can't see his good work being, completely. If I am Manmohan Singh, I can't see my good work going to this kind of things.
Down the drain.
Manmohan was completely, he was a reformer to core. He didn't have the option to do it during the 10 years that he had as Prime Minister because he had too many pulls and pressures, and we willingly submitted to it. He must be ruining that also. But what Rahul Gandhi has done to him now today is the unkindest cut, I would say, on a person who did so much good to India at this moment of grave crisis that the Congress earlier Prime Ministers had wrought on this country. It's very bad on Manmohan Singh, what Rahul Gandhi has done.
So, great. So, you've given me the headline for the day, Rahul's unkindest cut to Manmohan. That's what we are going to call this video. Right?
Or Robin Hood. Or Robin Hood.
Or? Say that again.
Robin Hood. Robin Hood.
Yes, of course. Yes, two. So I'll consider both. Okay. See you. Thanks. We'll meet up again. One other thing, maybe down the road, I want to discuss is this entire electoral machines bogey that the opposition keeps throwing up. And luckily, in the Supreme Court, they have met a bench which I think is very balanced, and it's very aware of the institutional the trust that people have in that institution called election commission. So maybe we'll talk about that next, unless something else kind of explodes. Okay, see you, Jawahar. Thanks a ton.
Thank you, Rahul, and thank you, viewers. Thank you.
Thank you, viewers.